Well, hello there. This is Ron, and I am making a video on teaching a technical competency. This video is intended for anybody at Iron Range Engineering who is going to teach a technical competency. So what I'd like to start out with is something that I call the essential components of teaching a technical competency. The first essential component is, and this is where all learning starts, with outcomes. When you think about what a student who finishes the course is capable of knowing and doing, those are the outcomes. These are the things that we would like our students to be able to know and do at the end of the course and a long time past the end of the course. Outcomes should be stated on the syllabus. And it is a best practice to review the outcomes and restate them with the students throughout the duration of the competency. The next essential component is, of course, a syllabus, and there are many different syllabuses that you can look at. I have my syllabuses on the wiki under the competencies that I teach of thermodynamics and fluid mechanics. Feel free to take a look, but the syllabus is an essential component. The next essential component is feedback. The most important thing we do as teachers is to provide developmental feedback to our students. We should be giving them feedback on how they are developing their capabilities every time we meet with the students. Feedback can come in a variety of forms. One, it can come as graded homework. When I grade homework, and there are many different kinds of homework that I grade, I always have a little post-it note where I write down some themes. Once I've handed back the homework to everybody, I go over the themes and I say, if you got a 3 on this homework assignment, here are the common things that we're missing. If you got a 4, you did a good job, and here are some ways that you might be able to raise it. So graded homework is a good way of giving feedback. When students work in group work during class, I will go around and I will make observations, and once the group assignment is done, I will look to give feedback to the students on the things I saw that I really liked, the best practices, and then the things where I saw that the groups could improve in the future. Another way to give feedback is to help the students calibrate what they should be able to do at this point in the course. What are the expectations? And so you can say, well, we're halfway through the course. At this point in time, you should be able to, and list 3 or 4 things, write them up on the whiteboard, and say, if you can't do these things, then here are some suggestions to get up to speed. So there are other ways to give feedback. One-on-one feedback is a possibility, especially when you see a student who you know is doing really well. Give her or him a nice comment as you're passing in the hallway. And giving whole group feedback. I look to give feedback every day. It's an essential component. It's more important than anything else we do as teachers. Another essential component in an IRE technical competency is a deep learning activity. There is much evidence that shows that when people are physically doing something as a part of their learning, the learning is more meaningful. So a deep learning activity should be where the person or the team is in the laboratory doing something, or out of the off campus doing something where they are extending their learning, where they are taking the concepts learned in class and adding more meaning to them. Designing and building a device, testing a device, designing an experiment and running the experiment. There are a wide variety of deep learning activities. We, in our accreditation visit, we make the statement in our self-study, we make the statement that every IRE competency has a deep learning activity. And so it is an essential component. Deep learning activities almost always also have a report, and they should be, in some sense, physically active. A book I just read a little bit ago talked about learning being a full body activity. Another essential element is an oral exam. Throughout the course of the student's competency, what they should be doing is preparing for a final oral exam where they stand at a whiteboard in front of their teacher and defend their knowledge. And there are different kinds of knowledge that we talk about in the outcomes, whether that knowledge is the ability to solve a closed-ended problem, whether that knowledge is the ability to thoroughly describe the fundamental principles of the competency, whatever that ability, whatever those abilities are, whatever that knowledge is, it should be defended like an oral defense as an exam. So these are the activities that are essential. There are there's also some documentation that is essential. There, in fact, are two pieces of essential documentation. Number one is an oral exam grade sheet. On an oral exam grade sheet, there should be evidence of the questions that were asked and the level of performance by the student. We have the students collect these and put them into a binder. At the end of the student's education at IRE, they will have taken 32 technical competencies. They should have 32 oral exam grade sheets. This is the evidence that they took an oral exam, what score they got on an oral exam, and why they got that score. The second piece of documentation is the course grade sheet. On the course grade sheet, there should be full documentation of the grade earned and how the grade was calculated. All right, so those are the essential components of teaching a technical competency, stated outcomes, a syllabus, continual feedback, a deep learning activity, oral exam, and documentation of the oral exam and the course grade sheet. And both of these documents are given to the student. The final step is to submit the grades electronically in the Google Drive on the student grade sheet.